Hey, hey, hey. I hope y'all have time for me today. Yeah. Man, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I got so much good stuff to tell y'all today. When I tell y'all gonna be glad I came on Friday. Boy, y'all gonna be glad today. Cause I'm telling you, this thing is awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's an awesome thing. You know, the universe is so abundant and so loving to mankind. All right. With one person, I need one more. We're going to get into the lesson. We're going to get into the lesson today. How you doing? What is it? Yeah. Paul, what's going on? Glad to see you in the house. Yeah. We need one more person, Paul. We're going to go in. Well, I got some awesome stuff to tell you. It's just like, I couldn't even wait. I usually start at 7 o'clock. I was like, man, I got to go. I got to get in there, man. I'm bubbling up on the inside. It's just like, oh, my God. Like a little child before Christmas. Man, it's awesome. Some good news. Yeah. Give me a 1, Paul, if you can hear me pretty good there, sir. Give me a 1. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let me see. Let me get it on. Yeah, I usually come on in at 7, but I had to get it in early. Okay. Hola, ¿cómo está, my sister from Mexico? Hola. All right, we finna go in now. Let's go deep diving into some science, some spiritual psychology. Let's go deep today. We're going deep today. And the reason why we got to go deep, because this happened to all of us. All of us experience similar things, and we don't understand why we keep experiencing these things. And so today, I'm going to show you how your awareness, because you are awareness, you are consciousness. You are that. You're not the ego and the personality. You created this body, so you're not that. You accumulated this body, so you ain't that. Anything that is accumulated, you're not. Let me say that again. Anything that you accumulated, you're not. You're not your ego. You accumulated that. Your personality, you accumulated that. Your body, you accumulated that through the food and the nurturing within your mother. You spun and spiraled the soul, the consciousness spiraled and made this body. That's what you are. The soul, the consciousness, the awareness. And so, by that being said, the word that I'm working with today is resistance. And the reason why this thing is so important, because we all do it, and we carry ourselves back instead of going forward. See, we want to go to higher existence on this plane. We want to reach enlightenment, blitz, We want to be so joyful, so loving, so peaceful, so enlightened on this plane so we can bring heaven through us. The mastermind Jesus comprehended that. It understood that. Now, what is resistance? Okay? What is resistance? Well, in looking up the word in the Wikipedia, the path of least resistance is a physical or metaphysical path that offers the least resistance to an object or entity moving forward. Okay? Resistance. Now, we want to get on the path of least resistance. And what we call resistance is very dangerous to our spiritual growth, because you got to remember, if you the awareness, you spirit, you're nothing else but spirit and awareness. That's it. All this other stuff has been accumulated over time. You build your ego over time. You build your personality over time. You know you was in your mother 9 months, time and space. But what is hindering us from our spiritual arising in awareness and our spiritual divine self from waking up to the totality of really enjoying life to the fullest? We're resisting the wrong thing. Resistance is one of the worst things can happen to us while we on this plane. We fighting our own self. Listen, the greatest element in the human consciousness is resistance. Beware of every form of fighting and all the thoughts of destruction characters. Thoughts build up, destroy, and they will work in your mind and body in an adverse way and tear down the good you desire to build up if you do not form them from care. You got to understand, resisting something bring you to a low vibration. Well, what are you resisting? You resisting being your true self. You resisting being happy. You resisting your divine path. Your path of least resistance. Because if you want to get to your desired reality, or you want to get to your promised land, you got to take the path of least resistance. And why would you want to take the path of least resistance? Because that's the path that is designed for you to take. I don't know if y'all remember Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee say you got to be like water. He say you got to be like water. Why? Because if you take the path of least resistance, when you flow, a river never take a resistant path. It takes the least resistant. And it don't go over the bank. It just keep flowing. You remember back in the day they say, get in where you fit in at? That was telling you, go where you feel comfortable at, where you feel joy at, where you feel peace at, where you feel empowered at. That's the path of least resistance. When you always struggling, I don't care if you in a relationship, I don't care if you in a business, I don't care if you work for somebody, I don't care if you in a family relationship, I don't care what the situation is. If it giving you some resistance, it's time to move on. You need to be looking for a path of least resistance, because if you feel better, you're going to do better. If you keep bumping your head over and over and over in a situation and you see yourself ain't getting nowhere, that path is not for you. It's resistance from your divine right. You gonna be blocked. You gonna be blocked for your abundance. You gonna be blocked for your youthfulness. You gonna be blocked for your intelligence. You can't rise to your highest Christ consciousness if you taking a path that's you always fighting, always working hard, you always going through, you always in a muck. Man, you're going to wear yourself out. In this life, everything, listen to me, everything is already in effect. I told you, you got to be joyous. You got to have peace inside of yourself in order to find and be guided to your design path of least resistance. And when you find it, it's going to be off the chain. You're going to feel it. You remember that song? You should know. You will know. You will know. Oh, you will know. It ain't easy. You'll know when you're on the right path. You're going to have joy. You're going to have peace. You're going to love. You're going to have enlightenment. The truth going to come to you. You are going to be on the path of least resistance. That's why they used to say back in the day, if you doing what you love, you'll never work a day. You'll never work a day. If you love something or somebody and they make it easy for you to love them, you're going to enjoy and you're going to endure. You're going to endure to the end. That's how this universe is set up. It's already done for us. But what we done did is let the so-called devil trick us in our ego and our personality. The path of least resistance. You can build with resistance or you can destroy with resistance. And I want you to use resistance to build. This is what it's about. It's about building and adding to your consciousness so you can elevate. And when it's time for you to ascend, you going the right way. You keep going that way instead of this way and repeating and reincarnating again down here. So the thing is, when you understand that when you store this negative energy within you, when you're not on the path of least resistance, it's going to be animosity, envy, greed, pride, madness, loneliness, tired. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be wore out. You're going to be wore out. And that's what we're trying to get you from. Because when you at your lowest point, that's when the so-called devil enter into your frequency field. Let's go. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. Now, the devil. Listen to me close now, because this thing is serious. This is everything I teach you, everything I tell you is happening on the inside of you. Ain't none of this outside of you until you get ready to manifest. All of this is going on within your consciousness, within your realm of thought, of being. Listen. The mass of thoughts that has been built up in race consciousness. Talking about humanity. Humanity. When it say race, it's talking about humanity. Consciousness through many generations. Generation curses, generations ignorance of earthly experiences and crystallized into what may be termed human personality. Let me say that again. Many generations of earthly experiences and crystallized into what may be termed human personality or carnal mind, which oppose and rejects God. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is within you. Been passed on from generation to generation. Ignorance. Thoughts. The devil is a state of consciousness. Listen, the devil is a state of consciousness. Advisor to the divine good. Everything that God made on this planet, every thought is good until the personality, the ego comes in and tell you, oh, don't do that. Don't go over there. Don't talk about that. Don't be like that. Do this right here. Ain't no good in God. God ain't this, and this universe ain't no. Everything opposite. That is what it's talking about. That is the devil. Consciousness, a state of ignorance of yourself, your universe, and what makes you, your awareness. That's why we got to, listen, you even got to go past your consciousness, your subconscious, even the mind sometimes, and go to the awareness and just observe. That's why the Bible even tell you, be still and know that I am God. Observe your being. The only way you gonna come over all the things that you going through, all the situations that appear to be evil, all the things that appear to be in your way, you got to rise above it. But first, you got to know what is causing you to have error, to be out of disharmony with yourself, with your surroundings, with God itself. You got to line this body, mind, and soul up together. And the only way you going to do that, you got to identify what you call is the devil. And the devil is a state of consciousness. It deals with everything below the diaphragm of your human body. When you are in the state of mind that you got to survive, that's the devil. Everything God made is already successful. Everything God made is already plentiful, already abundant. It came here with all of that. But once you get in your state of mind that you ain't no good, God don't love you, you ain't got enough money, this ain't happening, you in survival mode. And you got to rise above the survival mode. And the only way you're going to survive rise above the survival mode, you got to identify what's keeping you down. What's keeping you down? Listen to what it say. The devil is a state of consciousness adverse to the divine good. Divine good is for everybody, because you got to understand every human being on this planet is one unit. Even though we separate in our illusionary state, we separate, but in the collective mind, in the divine mind, we just one unit. One unit. One big unit. And once you get that in your mind, that you are part of the collective and not just an individual, then you will get out of self-centeredness, and then you won't allow. That's why the Bible say give no room to the devil. You giving the devil room in your life, in your mind, in your consciousness, because it's already been there from generation to generation. Every generation pass on ignorance, and that's what it is. It's time to stop it. And you the only one can do it for yourself, and then you helping the collective when you stop ignorance within your consciousness, and then you are helping the collective. Just like ignorance is a virus and a parasite, knowledge is a cure and a healing entity.
Oh my God!
If ignorance is destroying humanity, then knowledge will heal humanity. Knowledge of self, knowledge of the universe, knowledge of the collective, knowledge of the divine mind. Knowledge is the power to overcome the ignorance that dwells within you and amongst you. That's what's happening. The occult, let me say this, occult don't mean what people think it is. Occult means just hidden. But the people that hid this knowledge from us, they wanted us to be lesser in order so they can have dominion and rule over us. You got to regain one by one, step by step, process by process, success by success. We got to regain our natural capabilities. You think I'm playing this? This is natural. What I'm talking about is for it is a natural thing should occur within us. Listen, what Christ consciousness. Okay, we supposed to be rising above Christ consciousness. This is what we aiming for. That should be our aim. That should be our everyday activity, to be the best we can be and to be the highest spirit, vibration, frequency, energy on this planet in order to magnetize the things that we need and desire on this planet. But we can't do that because, first of all, the ignorance is a parasite and disease, and is causing us for us not to shine because it's covering over the light that is within us. And light is intelligent. So Christ consciousness, it's a term that has become more popular recently in recent years. It's many definitions. The main one I want to focus on is this right here. Intelligent, intellectual development, and emotional maturity. Well, what this got to do with your spirituality, your existence, your divine right? Well, if you're not intelligent, your intelligence is not developing, your emotional maturity won't develop neither. Sister, what's going on? This is how this go down. When you was a fetus, the first brain you got three. The first brain you got was the reptilian brain. That's what they call it, reptilian brain. Check. If you don't believe me, check it. Reptilian brain. Then as the trimesters went on in your birth, it was the monkey brain. That's what they call it. Then you evolved into your last stage of human brain. You always been evolving. But now what they did, because of the ignorance, now people are devolving back into the reptilian brain. I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you something, y'all. And I'm not belittling. I'm not putting anybody down, because they God, and I know they God, but they don't know they God. You can go to any major city in the United States of America, and probably across the world. And yes, you can, because I see them in Cambodia. You will see people laying on the street. You'll see them laying on the sidewalks, haven't took a bath in a while, probably ain't ate in a while, probably ain't did nothing hygienic to themselves, and they just be laying on the ground, won't even move. They're in a reptilian state of mind, the consciousness. They went backwards instead of going forward, evolving. They devolved. And many of those people are psychological. That's why I call it spiritual psychology. It's a psychological deprogress they done went through instead of progress. Then you got the next form, the monkey brain. The people that, and they gods, and I know they gods. The people that is on drugs, they can't sit still. They moving around. Every time you see them, they doing this. Give me that. That's good. What you doing? They in the midbrain. They right there in the midbrain. And then you got us, the people that is above that level of thought, and we moved on to a awareness, and we can conduct ourselves and use our capabilities the way we supposed to use them and functioning. Oh my God. And as we get to a level, we're going to go beyond this physical. But what I'm pointing out is your consciousness is what you are. And when you don't use it, you lose it. When you don't cultivate it, you will not progress. You're going to degress. You can't stay at a certain level. or you going to fall backwards. You know good and time well it's easier to fall down than it is to get up sometimes. And this is what is taking place all over the world. Well, it's a intellectual development and emotional maturity. Well, what is emotion? It's energy in motion. It's energy in motion. Energy running all through your body, all through your nervous system. And what take place when you have the negative emotions, it goes down and it crystallizes. That's why they said it crystallized, ignorant crystallized, and it gets stuck. Some people say the pineal gland in some people has crystallized and they can't see into the other realm. But I am here to tell you that all of it can be dissolved when you stop resisting your true nature, your true person. And I use that word lightly, but your consciousness is what is going to prepare you to dissolve all the problems that you're going through. If you change your vibration. And the only way you can change your vibration, you got to use words that will vibrate to a mature emotional level. You got to choose thoughts that will help you disintegrate all the negative things that's going on in your body. And once all of that is disintegrated, your manifestation on this earth, you will bring down the good, the divine good. That is what we need to be working on. And see, we looking so far outside of ourselves and we trying to do other things. These things ain't gonna get you nowhere. You can't cure a effect with a effect. It ain't gonna happen. You got to cure the effect with a cause, and it's got to be greater than the effect. That's how this universe works. And if you try to do it any other way, you out of line still. You out of harmony. And the thing is, what we trying to do is what we working on is to get in harmony with the divine mind. And the goodness gonna come. The goodness gonna come. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
When that light starts shining inside of you, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know. Can't nobody stop you. You're going to magnetize everything to you. Least resistance. You must find the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is something that you want to do, something you enjoy doing, something that you know you good at it, and guess what? You ain't really got to be good at it. Just love doing it. But if you love doing it, you're going to get good at it. That's why I say this universe is practical. Anything you practice, you're going to get good at it. And if you love a thing, do it. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about all that. Because the universe already know that you're abundant. You just don't know you're abundant. And when you, and I got to tell people this. I got to tell people because I don't think a lot of spiritual teachers are saying this. It ain't gonna happen overnight. The sun does not just come and take over nightness. They merge. The night just don't clobber the sun and say, go down. I'm finna take up. No, it's a merging process. One merge into the other. Your old way of thinking is going to merge into your new way of thinking. And when it when it merge into the new way, it's going to disintegrate. Your situation, your old situation that you in right now, going to merge into a new situation. It's just ain't going to stop. And speaking of words, stop. Anagrams. Words is used for anagrams. And what anagrams is, you have a word and then you can make a sentence with the word, and they call it an anagram. And one of the anagrams that I had to put in my consciousness was halt. H-A-L-T. Halt. That's a German word meaning stop. And the reason why I'm telling you this, if you want to come up out of personality, out of ego, you're gonna have to use this word. And how you use this word is just this simple. When you hungry, stop. Go get you something to eat. When you angry, stop. Go get you some calm yourself down. When you're lonely, tell yourself you're never alone. When you're tired, go get some rest. If you do this, what you call the devil is not going to come into you and make you do devilish things.
Oh my God!
You at a weak state when you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. You at a weak state. If you go back into Genesis and read about what God told Cain, just read it. So, bro, just read it. And once you read it, you'll understand that, listen, when okay, just look back in your memory when you was hungry and somebody came up to you and said, man, hey, listen, boy, it ain't time to go home, and you went off. You flew out. You was already mad when you went to work, and then somebody said the wrong thing. You went off. When you between relationships and you sitting up in the house and you by yourself and you feeling the spirit, oh, come in, you so long, you ain't never gonna get nobody. Now depression came in. When you don't work all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and you tired, and you telling people I'm tired, hey, let me go rest, they still want to pull on you, and you go off. Why? Because your shield is down at these states, and your consciousness, I'm telling you, the devil is a state of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness. And what that is telling you is, if you're not aware, if you're not being who you are, the awareness and watching what the consciousness is doing within inside you, you will fly off the handle. You'll lose control. Many people don't lost jobs because they was tired or hungry or angry at the wife or angry at the daughter or angry. They don't lost jobs. They don't lost a lot of things because of anger, because of loneliness, depression. They don't got sick because they was lonely, depressed. This is the ignorance that we got to overcome. And the only way you're going to overcome it is by thinking and raising your thoughts up higher so it'll pull up your energy. your vibration, your frequency. Emotions is energy in motion. That's why, listen, let me show you. Listen, people don't think I be telling, just listen what I'm finna tell you. I am conscious enough and I am aware of enough. And I want to tell people, I'm not prejudiced. I love everybody. I got love in my heart. But I know the game. The brown community of America can be doing wonderful, everybody peaceful and love, everything, and all of a sudden, it'll be a major incident where somebody of brown color will get killed, and everybody, by the police, everybody in the community, it'll be an uproar. They'll make sure it's on TV. They'll even film it to make sure it's filmed. And that anger that is running through you just drop you back down. And then you'll say, I'm so sick and tired. Now you just put yourself even further. Now loneliness gonna come in. Now your digestive system is off whack. Your chemical imbalance is you just off. This is the game they playing with you. And I'm telling you, if you got love, if you got gratification, and you keep yourself in a joyous state, the joy of the Lord is my strength. We playing with energy. Everything around you is energy. Emotions is energy in motion. Resisting your divine right will carry you straight to the bottom of thought. It will. Let me go on. Other names for this state of consciousness are the advisory, carnal mind, the accuser, the old man. There is no personal devil. Listen to what these people, listen, these are ancient writings. These people say there ain't no personal devil. You ain't never seen no devil running down Main Street talking about I'm gonna get that person. You ain't never seen that. You will never seen that because it's a state of consciousness. Everything is in divine mind. The people go and bomb people because of ignorance. You can ask any military man, why y'all went to Afghanistan? Why y'all went to Pakistan? What? They can't even tell you because they're ignorant. They were just following orders. And back to the police, they can't even tell you why they killing people. They just were ordered to do it. These are the things that you got to be aware of. And I'm not laughing because death transition is a part of this matrix. We got to transcend. But you want to transcend the right way. You want to transcend sitting in front of the TV and go to sleep and go home. Back to the source. So knowledge will keep you out of the position of because you really ain't transcending if you go out any other way. If you ain't going out natural, you is not transcending right. Okay, let's go. The devil is a state of consciousness. Okay, I read that. There is no personal devil. God is the one omnipresent. God is always present. Principle of the universe. And there is no room for any other principles of evil, personified or otherwise. It's a state of consciousness. Now listen to what they saying now. Listen. Y'all need to listen to this one. The devil, how to overcome the devil is to overcome by denying his existence and by affirming universal Christ consciousness. Your identity, that's who you are. Christ, universal Christ consciousness of love for God and all men. For God and all men. The devils that we encounter are fear, anger, jealousy, and other similar negative traits. And they are in ourselves. Christ gives us the power to cast out these devils, thereby cleansing our consciousness. Listen, how do that work? How do the Christ within you give you the power? It's by acknowledging your heritage, your divine right. Everybody, let me go further. Everybody is Christ. Ain't nobody, if we weren't collective. All right, okay. Let's just say Jesus Christ lived on this planet. All right, we're going to say that. Jesus Christ lived. Jesus became Christ consciousness. Okay? Now, if all of us is one human body or one divine entity, which we are, then if it's the Christ, then all of us the Christ. Because we ain't separate. Once you get this in your mind, you're going to be free of all of this ignorance. It's ignorance. Listen what the awareness. Now, okay, we're dealing with Christ consciousness. Awareness, that's what we are, the consciousness. Awareness of true nature. This is our natural God, divine nature, our right to exist as Christ consciousness. Others define it as states of awareness of one true nature, higher self, and birthright as a child of God or a mutual dominion soul over the universe. These folks telling you that everything on this planet that breathe and have their being inside of the divine mind is the son or the cell of God. Now, when you stop playing the game with them and take on your divine righthood, and I'm going to tell you another thing that baffles me, because I done went through some books, and I done went through some body of knowledge and schools of knowledge. You ain't this earth. It don't matter if you was born in South Africa or America, you still the Christ. The landmass does not give you entity or dominion, because dominion down here don't mean nothing until you get dominion up there. That's where the divine mind is at. When the divine mind asks you, that's why the Bible show you, the Bible show you that when Jesus was baptized and he came up out of the water, and then the Spirit said, yo, this is my son who I am well pleased in. When you acknowledge who you are down here, then the universe acknowledges you. So it don't matter. He didn't say you was from Egypt or Mesopotamia or Brazil. He didn't say that. He said, this is my son. Because he know that you beyond any landmass or anything on this planet. Because you was in the creation. That's why Jesus told him. He said, listen, before Abraham was, I am. You was there when the earth, the world was created. You was. Because you ain't nothing but a spirit, awareness, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. And when you get this in your mind, you get it in your heart. Shit, you might be walking on water, right?
Oh my God!
See, this is what they don't want you to know. The Virgo gonna tell you. The Virgo gonna tell you the truth. Because once you understand what they used to say, the Three Musketeers, all for one and one for all. This how this go down. This how this go down. It ain't no other way. It ain't no other way. The entity that the entity that we see, the empty space, it's a whole entity by itself. Okay. The forest is an entity by itself. Water is an entity by itself. Land is an entity by itself. Humans is an entity by itself. The animals is an entity by itself. The insects is an entity by itself. But guess what? All of the entities makes up the whole. All of the different entities makes up the whole. And when you can grab this consciousness, then, you know, the Jews called Jesus a magician. Because he, in the book now, you know, hey, listen to what I'm telling you. The Jews called Jesus a magician in some of their early writings. And the reason why they did that, because, let me read what this scholar wrote. He say, Jesus, achievement. Some followers of Christ consciousness believe that Jesus achieved his highest state of being, known as Christ, through meditation, spiritual practices, and good works. They believe that Jesus was fully human, not God, and that the term Christ was given to him in recognitions of his spiritual status. Listen, listen what it is. Listen what they telling you. By meditation, spiritual understanding, emotional maturity, intellectual development, we can reach the Christ consciousness. That is our aim, to be God on this planet. We are that. But you are letting outside things keep you below the heart chakra. Many people might not know what the chakra is, but the heart chakra, long as you stay in below the heart chakra, your consciousness is gonna be in the reptilian brain, and you might move up to the monkey brain. And all of these things, you got to follow somebody. You got to depend on somebody. You got to believe in somebody. You got to point the finger at somebody. You are resisting your true natural self, and you're gonna suffer You don't believe me? Go to a scripture. Let's go to a scripture. I'm going to show you what they was talking about. See, when you play with this Bible like this, you'll find the truth in them, but a lot of people don't want to play with it no more because they think it's got a hypnosis effect or a spell, a gospel, but it was truth in here, and it's truth in here. But then you got to know how to play with it. You got to know how to decode it. All right, this scripture say, this is in, what is it? 1 Peter 5:9. Listen what it say. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brother that are in the world. When you get out, you don't want to go back in. Steadfast, resisting steadfastness, conditioning yourself, being a disciple of the universe, seeing Buddha, seeing Muhammad, seeing Jesus and Confucius and the Tao and all these different hierarchy people, they rose to a higher intelligence. That's what God is. All-knowing. And that's the practice we supposed to be practicing on the daily. That's why I'm telling you, stop resisting. You know, love is a high frequency. And I said this on another screen. Love is a high frequency. But being your natural self is 4 times higher. And I might be saying it wrong. It might be 400 times higher. Being your natural self. Well, I'm telling you who your natural self is. You are the awareness. You ain't this body. You ain't this ego. You ain't this personality. When you in your meditation or you just riding down the road, watch how this shit just popping off in your head. Just watch it. Don't respond to it or act on it. And that's what's wrong with the world today. They listening to the personality and the ego, and they hurting people, and they taking from people, and they robbing people, and then they giving people drugs, and all of this. Been there, done it. And when you listening to the wrong information, you're going down the wrong path. That's what I'm telling you. Take the path of least resistance. Let me go to another scripture and look. And reason why I'm telling you this. If you on a path of enlightenment, you on the right path. But then when you got to feed your family, you got to find something you love to do and do it. Then the universe is going to bless you with abundance. It ain't just going to be mediocre like a job going to do. It's going to be abundance. Because it knows that you are already abundant. But you got to feel that. What scripture is James? James. You got to feel it. And when you feel who you really are, you be like Jesus with that. You be like Jesus with that bread and them fish. Anytime you got some in your hands, say, Father, multiply it, it'll multiply. It's happening right now for us, all of us. But we got to get away from the devil. The only way you're going to get away from it, what it say? You got to tell yourself that thing don't exist. It's a state of consciousness. And I can demolish that consciousness. I can have wrong thoughts over here, but if I build my consciousness up to a higher frequency, it's going to overlap that. And soon that's going to fall away. The universe is practical. And believe you me, it ain't going to be long, but it ain't going to be overnight. You ain't finna walk in it overnight. It ain't going to happen. Because the universe got to go by the law. Just think about planting a seed and getting a harvest. That's how long it'll take if you walk in harmony with the divine. And sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's longer than that. It just depends on your frequency. It says, submit yourselves, therefore, to God. Listen. How do you submit yourself to God? How do you submit to something that you never seen, that you vaguely think exists? How do you submit to it? By your frequency. By your thoughts. By thinking on things that you're grateful for. By thinking on things that you love. By thinking on things that bring peace in your life. By thinking on things that is inspiring you to be your higher self. That means you submitting. Pride, anger, lust, frustration, depression, all that shit, boop, you down there. God is a high frequency, and you got to practice these things in order to rise to the point where you meet God. That's what's happening. It says submit yourself to God. Resist the devil. Resist the devil. And guess what he's going to do? He will flee from you. This ain't talking about fighting. It's saying elevate every thought you got on godly level, because you a God. Think like a God. Be like a God. Move like a God. Speak like a God. Eat like a God. Let your emotions carry you. And guess what's going to happen? All that negative chatter going on in your head. Cease and dismiss.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you. I remember back when I was going to church. I ain't telling people not to go to church, but I'm telling you, when I went to church, I enjoyed Sunday school so much because I could be me in Sunday school. I didn't have to listen to the pastor because I took over the Sunday school. And they were asking me, Minister Jordan, what you think, Minister Jordan? I went to 4 different churches every week before I left church. Every other week, I went, the different churches. And they would ask me, Minister Jordan, what you think? What you think? Right then, I knew that I was on the path of least resistance. But then I started feeling a kind of way when I got home. So when I looked at it that way, I knew that I had to remove myself because I knew it was more. And I knew the things that I was embarking on in the schools of knowledge I was getting into, I could not go there and talk to them that way because they wouldn't have understood it. And then we would have been in a battle. Do no harm. Now I can tell them, and I feel perfect. When I get over here, I ain't got to worry about no stress or nothing. I can tell them because I'm in my God state. I'm in my divine place. And that's where we got to all be. It say resist the devil and it shall flee. Well, let's go back. Now I'm going to go back. Well, it's a mass of thoughts that has been built up in race consciousness. Resist the devil and he'll free. And the devil is a mass of thoughts. So that means if you got different thoughts contrary to the divine thoughts, that's your problem. When you thinking that you got to survive, when you abundant, when you thinking you lesser, when you the universe itself, the whole entire universe moved through you.
Oh my God!
Listen, the whole entire universe moved through you. I told you, all of us, the universe see us as one entity. Humanity as one entity. And it moves through us. All of us. And that's what we got to remember. We ain't backed by partial. It say the totality, the all of the universe go through us. You ain't gonna feel it until you get up there to that high vibration, to that Christ consciousness. You might feel it then. But I'm telling you that you got to expand your mind in order to understand this concept, in order to walk on this earth in your divine right. And you'll magnetize everything. Because you already electromagnetic. The energy in you. You're already that. Resist the devil and he will flee. It ain't talking about physical. We talking about eternal. It's talking about when, I'm just using this for example, when a thought come in there and say, man, you should have cussed them out. And you say, when you hear that voice, you say, no, do no harm. You just raised up. And say, oh, you should have stole that. No, all things on earth is mine. You just raised up. Man, you should have ran over that. No, I love all my brothers. You rising up. Your thought process. That's what it keeps saying. Resist. And it's going to be difficult, but you got to first know that it's there happening. That is what's causing you to do the things you doing and over, and you bumping your head because it's a limit on the personality and the ego. The thoughts of race consciousness. It's a limitation. With divine mind, there's no limitation. What? Let me go here. See, I'm in the talk of the move. I'll be staying up here. What is? Okay, resist. That ain't what I want. The devil. Okay. Christ consciousness. Okay. Now check this out. Christ, the incarnating principle of God mind. This is the universe. It makes up the universe. Okay? The perfect word or ideal of God. This is what Christ is. The perfect word or ideal of God, which is within God mind, which unfolds into the true man, and it's blessed with eternal life. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how this works. It's just as simple, and it go over Christian's head, but this is how it is. In God, he sees a perfect entity called humanity. And when he see that perfect entity, he gave it the name Christ or Christo. And this is the ideal for in the divine mind to reach humanity mind. And those that grab it is like a fruit on a tree. And if you grab the Christ consciousness off the tree and start moving towards that and using it for yourself and eat it, that's why I say if you open up your heart, I come in. It's a ideal in your consciousness that will overrun the devil's ignorance. And it will show you your divine right. It will show you your divine nature. It will show you the correspondent and the vibrations of God, the rays of God, the divine seven heavens. It'll show you everything because it knows everything. But it has to have your permission. So long as you resisted and said, no, now I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm Moorish, I'm Hebrew, I'm Christian, I'm Jew, I'm this. And God said, listen, my whole creation is one thing, Christ. That's it, Christo. Krishna, whatever you want to call it, it's that. And when you understand that, then you'll be understanding that the collective of humanity has a divine right. And every day you have a choice and a chance to grab your divine right. Confession is made on to salvation.
Oh my God!
True fact. I got one more and I got to get out of here. You see. Righteousness. The state of harmony established in consciousness. You can't be fighting on the inside of yourself. See, that's what a big problem is. Confusion within yourself. Because your true self is saying, listen, boy, you the Christ. Woman, you are divine by nature. You are divine by right. This is yours by right. This is your heritage. And the other side is saying, well, no, you ain't. You ain't no good. You ain't nothing but a slut. You ain't no good. You a liar. You ain't no good. You just go to church to have fun. You ain't no good. You been sleeping with that man wife. You ain't no good. And the other side is saying, no, you are divine by nature. You is the right. You is in harmony with God. There ain't but one source. Why is you believing there's two sources? There's only one. The devil don't exist. Why are you going with it? The state of harmony established in consciousness through the right use of God-giving attributes in the mind. I'm going to do a lecture on the attributes of God. I'm going to do one on attributes of God. I'm going to draw that. Let me write that down. I got the attributes of God. This is yours. All of ours. It's led directly to the eternal life. That's one attribute. Truth, working in consciousness, bring forth the perfect salvation. The perfect salvation of the whole. Listen, I'm telling you, of the whole. There's nobody left out. The whole humanity. Whole man spirit. The whole. Check it. And see the definition of whole. Ain't nothing left. It ain't but one. The whole man's spirit, soul, and body. The righteousness, right relationship, right relations is expressed in all his affairs. What it say? Let me go back to it. And that's that other scripture. Let me show you what's all man's affairs. Didn't it say all man's affairs? 1 Peter. I said I was finna go. I could be on here all night tonight. Peter 5. In 1 Peter 5 and 7, listen what he say now. Listen what it say. It say, for the perfect salvation of the whole man, talking about one man, the human race, man, spirit, soul, and body, and righteousness, right relation, is expressed in all his affairs. Now listen what 1 Peter and 7, what 1 Peter 5 and 7 say. Cast all your cares up on him, for he cares for you. Cast them all up on him. All of everything you care about, just care to the Christ consciousness within you. Anything you want, anything you need is there. All of it. The totality of it. And that's why we got to study to show ourselves approved. We got to understand that we are the power. We are the representants of the universe. Man, you represent the universe, the divine mind, God itself. You are the, listen, just like God mind is the blueprint for the universe, probably the galaxy, because there's 6 other universes beside this one. But for this universe, its mind is the blueprint. It creates everything. It created all the entities, the space that we see, the entities of water, entities of plants, entities of animals, entities of sex, entities of human, entities of dirt. It created everything through the blueprint of its mind. And in that way, it made us divine in nature, because in our mind, we have the blueprint of buildings, cars, boats, airplanes, anything we want to create, it comes from our mind. We are the blueprint on the earth, so we have dominion. When you're not creating, then you're not taking back your dominion. And if you're not taking back your dominion, you're in bondage. And if you're not in control of your mind, somebody else is in control.
Oh
And with that being said, know thyself, love thyself, and be true to thyself. Peace. One love. Peace out.